Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on today's brand new video. I am Cyan. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. Today we are talking about books that I think you guys should read. So today's video is going to be very casual, laid back, enjoyable, very chill. I am just glammed up because I filmed another video, next week's video, so that's why I'm got a full face of makeup on. Otherwise we would be in pajamas, which I practically am, and sipping some coffee and chilling on my bed. I grabbed 4 books. There's no particular order to them. They're not like my favorite of the favorites. They're not, they're not my favorite books, but they are books that I love. I think pack a lot of good information in them and are really enjoyable to read. They also make a huge impact in my thought process and kind of like, I think that you should read them. If you haven't already, I think that you should. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed down below. Turn on your post notifications because I upload every Monday, every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you'll be notified if you hit the bell icon when I upload a brand new video. All right, let's get into it. I use the app Goodreads. It's connected with Amazon, Audible, all of those platforms. It is really great for tracking your books, what you're reading, what you want to read. It's kind of like your own digital library, and it's really awesome. I've used it for quite a few years, so I highly recommend if you're a book reader or enjoy reading books and you kind of want to go back into your catalog and figure out what you read and you don't want to have to go into your Kindle library or your physical library, you can go back to that and kind of like keep track. It's also where I use for my goals for reading. So last year I had a goal of reading 10 books in the year, and that was how I was able to track that. Otherwise I would have never remembered how many books I read. So that was really awesome. I love it for that purpose as well. We're going to talk about the very first book. I'm going to reference Goodreads because it is a really good resource for plots and kind of backstory as well as star rating. So this book is called The Long Walk Home by Will North. Will North's debut novel, The Long Walk Home, is a story about grief and hope, about love and loss, and about two people struggling with the agonizing complexities of fidelity. To a spouse, to a moral code, to each other, and to a passion neither thought would ever appear again. By turns lyrical and gripping, set amid a landscape of breathtaking beauty and unpredictable danger, this is a story you will not soon forget. I don't typically love stories that are circled around infidelity issues. I don't like glamorizing things like that, but let me tell you, this book is phenomenal. I was hooked. It's so good. It's such a simple story. It's a very easy read. A lot of people in reviews say it's super cheesy. It reminds them of, Hallmark movies, and say what you will, but I find a lot of comfort in those. I love my action. I love my drama. I love all of those types of things, but I do really value a simplistic, positive love story. Usually interpreting books and versus movies and shows, they're very two different things. Movies and shows, there's usually a very distinct symbolism or nature to what they want you to feel or see or whatever. Books are different because you put a lot of your imagination into it. You're seeing things through your own third eye, if you will, into your imagination. So it does put you kind of into the story of, oh my God, what would you do in this circumstance? Because, you put yourself into the book, essentially, if you're the type of reader that I am, if you're an avid reader. With this story, I really did like, holy shit, I don't know what I would do in this circumstance. I don't think I would ever be in this situation, but you don't know what life is gonna bring you, and this story I think has a really good balance between love and loss, grief, and life, and I think that's really great, and I think it made more sense to me during that time of life because I was going through a lot of my own grief and I was going through a lot of my own loss, and being able to say that it's okay grieve and loss and mourn those relationships, but it's also okay to live on. And that's a lot of the interpretation that I took from it, and I think that's why it probably is one of my favorite books, because I go back to it a lot thinking like, this book is the book that took off with my love for reading again. I found a book mistakenly on a shelf in a Habitat for Humanity store, and I fell in love with it and I ran with it, and I have never looked back in like reading, and especially like love stories and stories that really grip at my heart, because that's the type of person I am. I'm a very emotional person, and I love to feel from books. Next, I have talked about this book. This is The In Between: Unforgettable Encounters During Life's Final Moments by Hadley Vlaus, I think is how you say your last name. I've talked about this book before. It was in my, I believe, Summer Obsessions video. I did that one, will be linked here, but you'll probably get an updated version of that this summer. I love this book. I think it's so good. I read it last summer on my family vacation, but I will give you a brief synopsis. In this deeply personal memoir, passionate advocate for end-of-life care, Hadley shares moving stories of joy, wisdom, and redemption from her patients' final moments. Talking about death and dying is considered taboo in polite company, and even in the medical field. Our ideas about dying are confusing at best. Will our memories flash before our eyes? Will regrets consume our thoughts? Does a bright light appear at the end of a tunnel? For most people, dying will be a slow process, one that can be eased with preparedness, good humor, and a bit of faith. At the forefront of changing attitudes around palliative care is hospice nurse Hadley, who shows here that end-of-life care can teach us just as much about how to live as it does about how to die. Hadley was raised in a strict religious household, but began questioning her beliefs when she was still in high school after the sudden death of a friend. Pregnant at 19 and shunned by her community, Hadley enrolled in nursing school to be able to support herself and her baby. But nursing soon became more than a job. When she focused on palliative care and hospice work, it became a calling. In the in-between, Hadley recounts the most impactful experiences she had with the people she's worked with, from the woman who never once questioned her faith until she was close to death, to the older man seeing visions of his late daughter, to the young patient who laments that she spent too much of her short life worrying about what the others thought of her, while also sharing her own fascinating journey. Written in profound insight, humility, and respect, In Between is a heart-rendering memoir that shows how caring for others can transform a life while also offering wisdom and comfort for those dealing with loss and providing inspiration for how to live now. It's just such an amazing book. I think it's hard to get through. And I don't mean in like a reading ability level. I mean, it really does tear at your heartstrings, and like, these are real life people's stories. This isn't just made up by her. These aren't fictional instances. These are real people. This is real life, and including her story. And I think it's just so interesting to see perspective of people that are dying. And it's not just people that are in their late stage of life. It's people that are in earlier years of their life. And it's, death is all around you, and it's a big facet of your life, but it's really about how you're living and how you decide to live. And I will say, this book brought me so much thought into that. Like, some things just don't matter. Like, some things are just not important. What goes on at work is not important. It is not the purpose of your life. Realizing life is not that serious, but life is serious. You should take the time that you have seriously. Why are you wasting it on thinking of things and people that don't align with where you're going in life, or don't fulfill you, are not as important as maybe you thought they were? It is okay to admit those things, and it's okay to admit that you're scared of dying. I know I am. It's something that I think very been fearful of in the last 10 years, especially, where I've been surrounded by the most death in the last 10 years. And as I get older, it's just going to be more and more very much a focal point of life and death. What I got out of the book is how to live in the now, like I just read, and just really enjoy every moment. And I think why I recommend you read this is for that thought. I think it's such a good thing to talk about. It's not easy. It's not easy to talk about. It's just a phenomenal story. So I highly recommend reading it. Much lighter note, we're going to talk about Atomic Habits. I talked about this book just not too long ago. So this book is by James Clear. Tiny changes, remarkable results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Again, another New York Times bestseller. Really good book. I bought this a few years ago and I've read it 2 or 3 times now in different sections over and over. I have a ton of notes and it's just a good book to go back to, especially when habits are always changing and evolving. Let's read about the inside, shall we? No matter your goals, Atomic Habits offers a proven framework for getting 1% better every day. James Clear is one of the world's leading experts on habit formation, reveals practical strategies that will teach you exactly how to master the tiny behaviors that lead to remarkable results. If you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your systems. In Atomic Habits, you'll get a plan that you take to new heights. Clear is known for his ability to distill complex topics into simple behaviors that can be readily applied to daily life and work. Here he draws on ideas from biology, psychology, and neuroscience to create an easy to understand guide for making good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Along the way, readers will be inspired and entertained with true stories from Olympic gold medalists, award-winning artists, business leaders, life-saving physicians, and star comedians who have used the science of small habits to value the top of their fields. Atomic Habits will reshape the way you think about progress and give you the tools and techniques you need to transform your habits. Whether you are an athlete looking to win a championship, a leader hoping to optimize an organization, or an individual who wishes to quit smoking, lose weight, reduce stress, and achieve success that lasts. I think this book gives so much value in doing small things to have a better life and achieve goals. And I don't even mean like, being a star Olympist. I mean like being a normal freaking human being. If you really are wanting to make real changes, I used it to achieve my goals in 2023, and I really implemented a lot of change in how I was eating. Habit stacking was a huge thing that I got out of this book. Before that, I was watching a specific YouTuber I follow, and she was talking about habit stacking. So I had started that really early on before even reading the book. And I loved that, being able to pull out your workout clothes the night before you go to the gym and immediately change into those. And then you're changed for the day. And you now either have to go to the gym or you're going to be in these clothes and you're not going back into bed in your comfy pajamas. To do that now, I actually end up every night, after dinner, I'll clean up dinner, but I'll make my lunch the night before, because I will definitely be better if I do it the night before. I don't give myself time in the morning to do it. So I will do that, and then I get my clothes out the night before. I look at the weather. I kind of plan it out. I know what I'm going to wear. I know what shoes I'm going to wear. And then I will be able to make a better decision there. I really limit my decision-making abilities in the morning because I don't want to have to make a million decisions first thing in the morning before work. I just try to make my mornings as simple as possible before having a big day. Really, it gives you quite a few different ideas. So if you're not the type of person to do habit stacking, for instance, I think that's very easily achievable, though. I think many people could do it, but let's say you're not. It gives you another idea, another thought process, and not a one-size-fits-all category. It's just so good, and it's life improving. but not boring. And then last but not least is this book. This is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. This is another book that I got that I thought I would like, but I didn't realize I would enjoy so much and change a lot of perspective for me. I've been in this life for 50 years, been trying to work out its riddle for 42, and been keeping diaries of clues to that riddle for the last 35. Notes about successes and failures, joys and sorrows, things that made me marvel and things that made me laugh out loud. How to be fair, how to have less stress, how to have fun, how to hurt people less, how to get hurt less, how to be a good man, how to have meaning in life, how to be more me. Recently, I worked up the courage to sit down with those diaries. I found stories I experienced, lessons I learned and forgot, poems, prayers, prescriptions, beliefs about what matters, and a bunch of bumper stickers. I found a reliable theme and approach to living that gave me more satisfaction at the time, and still, if you know how and when to deal with life's challenges, how to get relative with the inevitable, you can enjoy a state of success I call catching green lights. So I took a one-way ticket to the desert and wrote that, What You Hold Now. An album, a record, a story of my life so far. This is 50 years of my sights and scenes, felt and figured outs, cools and shamefuls, graces, truths, beauties, and brutality. Getting away with, getting caught, and getting wet while trying to dance in between the raindrops. Hopefully, it's medicine that tastes good. A couple of aspirin instead of the infirmary, a spaceship to Mars without needing your pilot's license, going to church without having to be born again, and laughing through the tears. It's a love letter to life. It's also a guide to catching more green lights and to realizing that the yellows and reds eventually turn green too, by design and on purpose. Good luck. And I just thought this book was so phenomenal. At first I was like, oh, what am I getting myself into? This is really, like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I wasn't really understanding the symbolism and all of it. And finally, I was getting it. Like, things were starting to click, and I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, it's such a good way of looking at things and turning things to a symbolism and making it more meaningful. And, you know, we do have a lot of goods and bads that happen in life, and a lot of yellows and reds. Those usually lead to really good life lessons. I will say that I've been able to relate to this book a lot more in the last 2 years, especially in my life, and I think it's a testament to getting older and understanding more and going through more of life's yellows and red lights. Finally, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm seeing a lot more green lights and allowing myself to be happy with what is. I was very much in a state of just disappointment with the way my life was going for being almost 26 years old now. I don't have my own house or my own apartment. I am this age and I don't have $10,000 saved up. I am at this point in my life and I don't know what I'm doing with my career. I'm at this point in my life and I don't have a stable relationship. I'm at this point in my life and I'm watching all of the others at the same stage or at the same year in their life, and they're married with kids and houses and cars and moving and careers. Is really hard to watch that, and it still is. I still have some things that I'm still working through, but I mostly I know why I'm in this point of my life. It's to learn that I'm getting there. Can't experience the highest of highs without the lowest of lows, and you have to really just live through both of those to understand, to understand life. And I think it's amazing to see drive and passion. He is such a hard-working individual, and it made me actually respect him a lot more. It made me want to go towards his life more. I love pop culture. I've always been a pop culture junkie. When he's talking about the areas in his life where he was filming a certain movie or whatever, and this is where this specific thing came from, or where he realized this, it's like, oh my god, okay, I went out and watched that movie. So A Time to Kill, I had never seen that movie before, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is where this specific thing came from. Like, this is so interesting and so cool. And I watched Dallas Buyers Club, and just his acting ability is phenomenal, and that's the type of actor that he wanted to be, instead of, you know, he had a really high with A Time to Kill, and then he hit a low, and, you know, hit a low in his world, but really everybody thought he was on a high with, you know, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Fool's Gold and like all of these rom-com movies, and The Wedding Planner, which is one of my favorite movies. And, you know, you thought that those were, you know, that's not exactly what he wanted to be. He didn't want to be the rom-com guy. So, like, yeah, he's acting in this movie, but stuff is going on in his life too. And I don't know, it's so fascinating. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's very different and a lot of talking, but kind of chill too. But I really just wanted to sit back and talk about some books, because I have been obsessed with reading in the last 2 years, and it's really a testament to a long walk home. If without that book, I probably wouldn't be doing this video. So take a chance on reading every once in a while. That's all that I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up like I asked, and just make sure that you're subscribed, because I upload every Monday now. So yeah, and if you want to know where this look came from and what you thought of all the products, make sure you check out next week's video. So definitely turn on your post notifications so you're notified when I upload that video. But that's all that I have for you today. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful life, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye, guys.